Hey guys, we have another update from the school gardens. We'll start out here in the greenhouse where something very sad has happened. We had talked a couple of weeks ago about how we needed to open the door to the greenhouse because in this summer heat, the plants just get too hot if the greenhouse door is left open. This is like when you're in your car, right? In the wintertime, it's fine to leave the windows up, but during the summer, you get a greenhouse effect, right? Light comes in, transfers energy to thermal energy, and then the molecules that are moving faster can't escape. So what happened wasn't, and I don't know who did it, but someone on campus closed the door to the greenhouse and closed the window, and that really cooked the watermelon. So I'll show you what's going on. It also cooked the milkweeds. So I'll show you what we've got going on, and we'll talk about maybe where we go from here. All right, going into the greenhouse, we can see our little sugar baby has shriveled. The fruit that we had pollinated, it's still here, but it's soft, which is not good. Watermelon fruit shouldn't be soft. Our Dixie Lee actually weathered the heat reasonably well. Maybe that's because it was younger. I don't know, but the Dixie Lee was okay. But our little Desert King here, again, a lot like our sugar baby. Maybe some of these leaves are showing some signs of life. Maybe a little water, we can revive it, but some of these leaves are pretty crispy. Yeah, they're crispy. They're not going to survive. The vine we might be able to save. This Desert King, this vine looks okay. This one is looking all right. I don't know. Our milkweeds, they just couldn't take the heat. They're crispy. They're done. So we'll do milkweeds again next year, hopefully. So that is our greenhouse report. Again, plants can only operate at a certain temperature. Let's switch the camera here and have a little talk about it. Temperature is a very important factor for plants. Some plants like it really cold. Some plants do better with the heat. Very few plants can handle the kind of heat that will develop in a greenhouse with the doors and windows shut in 100-degree weather like we're getting right now in Las Vegas. So you can definitely apply too much heat, as you can imagine. And that's unfortunately what happened with our greenhouse. So we'll try and save these plants. I came in on Friday. Today's Tuesday. So they had all weekend, potentially. Again, I don't know if this got done yesterday or what, but we'll try and save them. Some of them might not be savable, but we'll take a look at the watermelons in the garden. They're hopefully doing better. So let's head over there. So out here in the outdoor garden, the watermelons are doing a lot better. They've all been spreading out. As you can see, we've got a watermelon here that's doing pretty well. It's a sugar baby. So let's take a look at how the outdoor watermelons are doing even in this 100-degree. As you can see, we've got a nice watermelon vine spreading out here. It's looking pretty good. We got another watermelon vine developing over there. That's Dixie Lee. This is a sugar baby. We got another sugar baby going over there. Looks like watermelon I planted last week. Hasn't germinated yet, but that's okay. We got a nice big sunflower coming up here. Coming over here to this garden. That watermelon last week that wasn't looking so good, it looks like it might sprout and come back after all. We'll see. We've got a little sugar baby. Over here that's coming up. That's looking pretty good. We got nice vine coming along here and over here. And again, nice big sunflower coming up. We've got a watermelon vine coming up here and here. Comparing watermelon vines, the ones over here that were on the plastic, I think are probably growing a little better than the ones over here that weren't on the plastic. That would be a really interesting science fair project. Our spinach doesn't really like the heat much. It's starting to wilt. We got a little marigold here that's looking great, starting to produce its first flower. Marigolds are great companion plants because they repel bad insects. We've got some basil that's growing up here. We've got another couple of marigolds here that are doing well. A nice big tall sunflower, and you can see here we've got a little larva from a ladybug. That's doing great. We love ladybugs. They're great predators. They'll take up aphids. We got another watermelon, another vine over here. We've got some nice germination going on with this new watermelon. So overall, we're doing okay with the outdoor watermelons. All right, let's take a look at the rest. Coming over here with our potatoes. The potatoes in the beds here that are getting watering from the drip lines are doing much better than the potatoes and the potatoes in that we had planted that I'm just watering by hand. Our corn is looking fantastic, and we got a nice little, not so little anymore, sunflower that's doing great. Now I want to take some time and talk about our potatoes. So the potatoes that you guys planted are doing well, but if you look and compare these potatoes to the ones that I planted, almost a month after you guys planted yours, the ones in the beds here in the outdoor garden are doing much better. They're so tall. They're 2, 3, 4 times bigger than the ones you guys planted. And so the big question is why, right? There are a few differences between the ones that you guys planted and the ones in the beds. The first difference is, of course, there's no drip lines out here. Our original plan before the coronavirus hit was for you guys to come out and water your plants every day. I've only been coming out to water them once a week, maybe twice a week. So that's a big difference. And 2, the soil here is, you might have noticed, is a lot sandier, a lot more gravelly. And we've tried over the years to enrich it and amend it and make it better. But the soil in the beds is much richer soil. So for our factors that affect growth of plants, heat 1, the amount of water 2, and the quality of the soil 3. Also, another thing you might consider is these potatoes are getting less sunlight than the potatoes over there. Not a lot less, but a little less. So that's that. There is some good news in an otherwise sad day. Our banana tree, our wonderful blue Java ice cream banana, is unfurling yet another leaf. This is great. One thing to notice, the leaves that it originally had when we bought it from the nursery have already dried up and died. This is common in banana plants. They'll send up new leaves, and then after a while the old leaves will dry up and die. So this is normal. This is part of healthy growth for this plant. We can see the leaf that it unfurled last week is doing great. So this new one that's just unfurling should do great as well. A few more things. Our calendula is doing marvelously. And this happens a lot of times with flowers, where if you take off the first few flowers, that actually encourages more flower growth. So the more flowers we take off, the more growth we tend to see as well. So our calendula is doing well. And the dill, may it die, is still with us. Our other herbs in our garden here are doing okay. So our parsley's doing all right. The other plants in here are doing well. Let's take a look at the fruit trees. It's been a while since we've taken a look at the fruit trees. So in the fall, we had a Fuji apple that was planted, and it's dead. It didn't take, for whatever reason. It's not doing well. Now, this is a really interesting tree. It's called a jujube, okay? It's very thorny. You need to be very careful when you're around this tree. I'm not sure that I would have chosen a jujube. These thorns are pretty nasty, but it's doing okay. It's not flowering, but the leaves are doing okay. And oh look, we've got a little ladybug that's not quite in the adult stage, pretty close. That's kind of cool. I know you guys love ladybugs. We've got a calendula coming up over here in our other apple tree that's actually doing okay. This is a Fuji apple, okay? And it's doing all right. It did have an aphid infestation, but thankfully our ladybugs and their offspring are doing well, eating up those aphids and keeping our apple tree doing okay. I'm not sure if we got a lot of pollination this year. I don't expect to get a lot of fruit this year out of this apple tree, but hopefully next year around this time we'll start seeing some effective pollination. Over here we've got our fig tree, and as you can see, it's got a nice big fig, so that's nice. We've got a little mint growing here. This is what's called gilding a tree. The mint will help shade the ground. Coming over here to the other side, our pomegranate is doing all right. It's leafing out. And take a look here. We've got our first little flower getting ready, and another one up here to open up and get pollinated. That'll be fun. Our other fig, no fig fruit yet, but the leaves are doing great. Our poor little lemon, it's hanging on. It's not doing great, but it's hanging on. The lemon balm, on the other hand, is exploding. And our loquat is doing well. It's leafing out, no flowers. Looks like we're gonna have to wait another year or so for our loquat to bear fruit. There we have it. So that is our garden update for the week of April 27th, 2020. Few lessons learned, hopefully. This is a big week for factors that affect growth and development. Heat can definitely kill your plants. The amount of water that they get is definitely a factor in growth, and the quality of the soil is definitely a factor in growth of plants. So we'll check up on this garden again maybe later this week. Since it's so hot, we're probably going to up the number of times we visit per week. But that's it for this week. Bye-bye.